Hello there, everyone. This is host number 17 here. And let me first, like usual, I do not own this picture, this is a non-paid video, and sorry, I was in the middle of a stretch when I said that. My body just feels so stiff. But anyways, yeah, we're doing our fleetway, and then tonight, before I go to work, or tonight, we're doing the freaking Madara. We're doing the Madara one. Yeah, what deku was betrayed and was the reincarnation of Madara. So let me just tell you guys this. He's gonna be betrayed again. But it's gonna be by Monoma. Well, Monoma's not, it's gonna be his friend, quote unquote friend, at first until he finds out about the whole entire UA thing. Well, I mean, until he finds out he's in class 1A. So I'm gonna have him meet him, and then yeah, and then here's the thing. He's gonna basically, Nezu's gonna basically ask him how he's able to do all this stuff after the hero versus villains. And that's where Bakugo is gonna get the living he's just gonna get the living beat out of him. He's just gonna get his butt kicked. Just wanna let you know that. Madara, he decided when he became his real self, like when he's actually how he was pretending to be, and then he acted like his real self. So that's why he let his hair grow out. He didn't dye it black or anything. He basically decided to get his revenge, but when the time is right. So he's gonna get payback. So Monoma's gonna be in the sports festival because he's gonna ruin. Well, not he's gonna just make people hate Madara. And yeah, that's it. There's gonna be rumors spread, and people are gonna come up to him, basically in an army, but as a group, and basically they're gonna ask him all these. Like one person asks him a question, and he just explains his life story, and then they'll just like back away, and Monoma, they'll root for him to basically beat him. they tell him Monoma told them, and he's like, huh. So the guy I trusted for the last few for the few minutes I was talking to him, I'm gonna beat his butt. I'm gonna beat him in the sports festival bad. He's gonna make him notice why he's called Madara Uchiha, the god of shinobis. So that's what's gonna happen. That's what happened. Alright? So I just want to make that clear. I'll explain it again in the next part too, of it. So yeah. This is what a Fleetway was. I mean, this is what Deku was, the reincarnation of Fleetway. Part 3. Alright. So after, Fleetway and Amy touch the bomb, hero team wins. And he just goes up to Bakugo. I think I already had that, but I'm just saying, he just goes up to Bakugo and just says, "You could have tried a little harder, man. Come on, I need some excitement." And then Bakugo says, "You can make an energy field around you. I can't even break through it." He was like, "Alright, true. Let's go. You get Ida. I'm not touching that." He was, "Wait, what do you mean?" He was like, "Honestly, the guy think he's better than me, so I'm not touching him." And he just walks towards the window, and Amy just runs over to him because she knows what he's gonna do, and he just like pokes it and it just shatters. And he goes like, "Let me guess, when we fly over," she just nods. He just grabs her and thinking to himself, "Okay, don't think of nothing. You're just helping her get back to class way easier. Don't think of nothing else. Don't really like getting flustered and trying to do a move on her. Nope." So basically, Bakugo's going like, "What are you doing?" And then Fleetwood just starts floating, and then he just starts flying right through, and everyone is shocked besides Shadow. He was like, I was wondering when he was gonna start flying. And they were like, "Wait, he can fly." He was, "Unlike me, he doesn't need any certain help with using the chaos energy to fly." So yeah, and everyone's in shock. All Might's in shock. I forgot who I gave the one for all to All Might's quirk. I think I just gave it to Mirio. If I didn't, then I think it probably was Kirishima. I think it was Kirishima. Yeah. Alright, you guys just leave in the comments on it, but right now, that's gonna be up in the air. If I hear someone says, oh, I didn't give it to no one. I'll give it to someone then in the next part. But yeah, anyways, so it just takes a matter of like a couple seconds to get there, and basically he's just like right there, like floating, just lands and lets go of Amy, and his face is red, and Amy just asks him, goes like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm perfectly fine." And he just walks away from her. He's like, himself, "Crap, I thought of something. I thought of something. I thought of something." And he's just like what he was thinking of is just like asking her out, and just like while they're flying, and and just like all that mushy gushy stuff. So he's just like thinking, nope, 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 no. Uh, and Shadow notices this, so he goes up to him and he goes like, Fleetway, I mean Izuku. He goes, yeah, what? He goes, do you like Amy? He was like, and he just looks at him dead in the eyes, and he just already could tell, like Shadow could already tell he does. He goes like, oh. You really liked her, huh? He was like, don't you dare tell her. I swear to Mobius. If you do, I will freaking make sure you can never run again. And he goes like, sure you will. That'll just hurt her if you did that to me. Her heart. And he's like, I hate you so much right now. You're like, I'm used to it. And Shadow just walks away. Bakugo, after everyone waits, Bakugo and Ida comes in. And Ida's just looking at Fleetway, and he's like, he just looks at him, and he's just like, with the helmet off, he's just glaring, and Momo does start saying, like, and then, he asks who was the MVP of the fight in this fight. Well, in this, like, class for, at the, fight period, well, had that match. And Momo starts to tell, like, them, like, what, basically, who did the right thing, who did the wrong thing. She tells Ida to let his ego / his hatreds towards Izuku go, too far, and that Izuku took it too far. And then Fleetwood just says, "Me, that was tamed. I mean, that was pretty much tamed. You should see when I'm actually using my real power. That was just speed alone. Jeez." Until I healed him. And then she goes, still, you could have injured him and killed. And he goes, you don't know what I could do, Momo Yadarozu. And the air in the room just gets cold and dark. And Amy just, like, holds his, like, just basically, like, holding his hand. And then all of a sudden, his face goes red. He goes, like, he's saying to himself, why? And basically, Amy's literally just holding his hand. And she just tells Momo, saying, Momo, how about this? You don't know what he's been through, so I want to really open up my mouth on saying how bad what he did. And you can tell what you told in detail. I can already tell. He was holding back against him. And the the pieces of armor that's gone, yeah. That was him just being tamed. Even Shadow agrees. And Momo says, but still, he goes, yeah, no. This guy can literally destroy a whole entire city if he wants to. Actually, near a planet. And everyone's in shock, but hold on, everyone. Give me a minute. I'm back, but anyways, so here's what happens. Shadow's just telling him he can wipe out a whole entire city or even a planet. And they like, that's not true. No one has a powerful quirk like that. And Fleetwood just starts laughing. He goes like, you guys really don't get it, do you? And Amy's like, holding his hand even tighter, and he's not, going crazy. He's just laughing, and he goes like, I know my full capabilities. Not because my quirk. It's because I died already once. And everyone's like, what? He goes, let me tell you a little something about myself. I wasn't human. I was a talking hedgehog. And they're like, no, wait. That's not all my, it says, everyone, be quiet. And, All Might's telling Fleetway's not lying. He's saying, young Midoriya, please tell us more. He was like, all right, my name. Well, actually, it's better if I show you. And then he just puts his hand on the ground, and all of a sudden, a image like he's basically chaos energy is going throughout the room, and then it just plays his memories, and he's just holding it there, and he was like, "You see that blue hedgehog? That's called that. Not that. He's called Sonic the Hedgehog." And then they just hear voices like they hear Sonic's voice, and they see Amy, Tails, Shadow, and they're like, "What the?" He goes, "We were animals, basically that were mutated by some unknown, well, disease, well, not disease, but unknown virus or creatures. We don't. I don't even know how we were born, but me, I know how." As in, he shows the day he was born. He shows every single moment where he came out, how much destruction he had, how much of everything he was. He shows the pure monster he was. And that and then also when he gets still back away in Sonic, he shows the loneliness. How alone he was really, how he hated it, how he thought he was gonna go crazy. But then the more good the positive energy Sonic used from the Chaos Emeralds, the more good he was, the more kinder he became. But he can always revert to back to being the psycho demon that he was. And he doesn't want that. So basically he fights it every day just in case he ever goes back to it. He just doesn't care. It's a will now he has to fight to keep his sanity in check. And people are like wondering, like, okay, so you have this much power, you can do this and that, you can just destroy cities and buildings. And then next thing you know, he shows the illusion of, like, he did show them the illusion. That's what they were like, just saying to themselves until they saw that, and he was like, okay, yep, he can destroy a whole entire planet. And so when he gets to the day of his death, Amy Shadow saw what he was doing in Sonic's head, and basically Amy's been like, he just revealed himself to actually having a crush on Amy. And he's thinking, well, it's better time than nothing. Because I just don't care right now, because basically I'm getting told I did something wrong, and yet I could do a lot more dangerous things than what I did to Ida. And so when he comes to the day of his death, everyone is crying, even Ida. And then he basically shows his life as Izuku Midoriya. And how he kept his physical abilities, how he kept the chaos energy, and that, he knows it's not a quirk. So basically, they all just are in shock that this isn't a quirk. So he just says, after he releases his hand and gets back up, he says, yeah. And Amy is blushing bright red and says, you had a crush on me? He goes like, and, his face, he starts to get blushing too. He was like, yes, is that a bad thing? And then she just hugs him and it was, Shadow, info, please. And Shadow says, hold on, sorry about that. It was a notification, sorry. But, anyways, so, as I was saying, he basically, Shadow says, well, after Sonic, told us you died, Amy started to miss you. For some reason, she felt like something in her life that was gone. And Sonic didn't usually act a certain way around her anymore. Well, he still cared about her, but it wasn't like, it didn't feel like that passion she had for Sonic. And plus, he was already dating Sally, so And the Fleetway just says to himself, how could Sonic date a princess when he has a really good cook right in front of him this whole entire time? And Amy looks at Shadow, she says, if you tell him any more, I will freaking hit you with my Pika Pika hammer. And she still has, that's what it's still called. And then Shadow just says, okay, sorry. He just backed away, like really scared. And then Ida comes up to him and says, he's like crying, and he just says, I'm sorry for my actions. I did not know you had that much of a hard time and all, and he doesn't know what to say actually. He's just like stumbling over his words, and he just says, "Well, I don't really like you that much, but we can start over. But let me just tell you, I don't forgive. So anytime we fight, you're gonna get a beating of the lifetime. You know that." And Ida just smiles and he says, "Huh, well then, I'll try my hardest. Even though I know you're way stronger than me, I will not give up. I will become stronger than you." And he goes, "Sure thing, Ida. Sure thing." And they just shake hands, and a rivalry is formed. And Bakugo just, you know. Actually, no, wait. I'm really am gonna look and see because I have a feeling I made Bakugo have one for all. So give me a minute. Yeah, I did give him one for all. All right. Um. So yeah, and then like he goes. So basically, and Bakugo says, "Hey, I'm your rival, your first one. Remember that, Zuko." He was like, and I think basically I'm just gonna call him Fleetway, but he's been calling him Deku this whole entire time, and he goes, "Wow, call me by Zuko." That's the first thing. Hey, Bakugo. He goes, yeah. So you were a hedgehog that could talk. That's kind of cool, actually. He goes, so, how was it? Living in the darkness of someone's subconscious and all that, being trapped, he asks. He goes, and then he just says, horrible! Like, literally, I couldn't eat nothing. I couldn't do anything. The only thing I could do was just watch everything. Heck, I even learned how to basically make an astral projection of myself to actually go around the freaking world. And I since now she knows, I saw Amy crying and I felt really bad. So basically, I controlled Sonic to come over and talk to her, but that was really me. Somehow, in some way, I subconsciously talked to her. I don't even know how. I don't even know what I was doing. All I knew is ah! There's a lot of things I didn't understand, even to this day. Chaos energy, it's really hard to understand it. Oh, God. My brain. And because he's emotionally drained and, like, he doesn't know what to even say no more. Basically, Momo apologizes for what she was talking about, how he wasn't being tamed, and now she knows he really was, and that was, like, the lowest amount of damage he could have done to someone was calling through the armor, hitting them, and then healing them. That was like literally the smallest amount of damage, which she is. Everyone is sort of afraid, but now they know he has regret what he done and everything, and All Might even says young Fleetway or Izuku. It says Izuku. Fleetway's just a nickname. He goes, well then, young Izuku, you may have had a rough life at first, and then you died and was reborn, and you had a better one. You decided to become a hero. For that, I applaud you. For fighting against that urge, that evil in you. Now then, let's get on with class. And Amy just grabs him and pulls him to the side, and he goes like, and then he looks at Tails and Shadow goes like, help me, help me, help me. He's just waving his arms out for help, and they both just nod. And Baku's about to do something, and Shadow just stops him. He goes like, don't even bother. They need this. So basically, Amy goes outside of the classroom, the monitor room and everything else. She goes, so you're the one, and she puts him against the wall. She puts her hands around and she has to say, so you're the one who's been talking to me and just cheer me up after we sealed you inside. 3 years later, you come out of an astral projection. You see me crying. You control Sonic's body to come over to me, talk to me, cheer me up, and basically just have fun while Sonic doesn't know what he's doing, and he's just enjoying it too, but still has feelings for Sally. He was like, yeah. And he goes, and you liked me all this time while you were inside Sonic's basically subconscious sealed away. He was like, yeah. And then she goes, so why you haven't asked me out? And he's like, what? And she goes, I freaking like you already. Like, come on, please, just say it. Like she's like kind of tearing up a little bit because he now she knew she knows the reason why now he saved everyone and protected Mobius and everything else was because of Amy, because he liked her at all. She realized she was in love with Fleetway because that's all she was thinking about, not because he saved her. It was like a year later she was still thinking about him. She did not get married to no one. Shadow did, and so does Tails, but Amy was not married. And so what happens is she's just saying like everything like she's been through. She felt like after he died, she was alone. She had no one. Like, she lost something like what Shadow said, and she missed him so much. Basically, she's like holding him now. And she's crying, and he just hugs her basically, and so he just says, "Do you want to go on a date later after school?" And then she looks up at him, and she just smiles, and then she just hugs him again. Basically she's going back to hugging, and he's saying to himself, like, okay, first step done. Now second step, figuring out what to do. Freak. He just letting his heart. He's just his emotions are going wild because of basically she's hugging him and he had a crush on her. So yeah. So after they come back in, Amy's just holding his arm and everything, and he's just thinking, I didn't ask her to be my girlfriend, but all right, whatever. And Shadow says, so did you ask her to be your girlfriend? He goes like, and Amy says, no, but he asked me on a date. Who cares though? And Shadow says like, then why you're holding his arm like that? He goes, because I can. And Shadow goes like, true. So yeah, so everyone's seeing it. People are saying that's cute. Bakugo just snickering while Amy's just glaring at him, and for some reason he feels like he just shut it. He's like having that instinct, like, don't mess with the the pink hair girl. Oh, well, the freaking hedgehog pink hair girl. He's calling her like hedgehog. He's calling Fleetway just Fleetway. He's on a Shadow like. He's just gonna go like he can't really come up with any nicknames for them. He just calls them by the name. He goes, don't mess with Amy. So yeah. So what happens? He was named MVP of the class. He did they had a strategy, they had a plan, they executed it all. Everyone else's fights go the same, besides Araka. And so yeah, so after that, after class is done and all, Amy and he texts his mom saying he'll be home late. Amy calls her mom saying like she's gonna be home late. Amy's mom asks why. He goes, oh, because I'm with a guy. And then she just asks, is he your boyfriend? He goes like, no, but he asked me out on a date. And so like her mom just says, okay, good. And Fleetway's mom just says like, Inko just says to him like, okay, be safe, don't kill no one. And he go like, come on, I'm not gonna do that. He says that in text, and she goes, I know, I'm just joking. He goes like, I know. They had that sort of thing, but yeah. So the date went for them. Basically, they went to see a movie. They got dinner. He doesn't have like a whole lot of money. So basically, they just saw a movie, got dinner, and then he takes her home. Well, he just basically like flies there, and so she told him where she told him where it was. And so he basically found it where he actually put in GPS. So he asked her to hold his phone while he had the earbud in so that way he can hear where to go. And he just follows the directions and he just gets there. He lands and he drops her off. She gives him back his phone. He says thanks. She has no problem. And so, she's blushing. She's talking to him and saying like she had a nice time and all. And it's great to know that we have both the same feelings and all that. So would you like to be boyfriend and girlfriend? And Fleetway's eyes just, aren't shocked that she actually asked this out. And he goes, yes. He just says, and she goes, really? He goes, and then, she just says, really? He just says, yes. I would love to. And just let you know, Sonic wasn't an idiot to not date you. And she says, yeah, he was, but I'm glad he didn't. And so basically, she hugs him and he says, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll pick you up. And she goes, okay. And she walks in, but she then turns around. She's about to, like, Fleetway is just about to get ready to go, but she runs over and then kisses him on the cheek and then runs back into her house. And he just says, he just touches his cheek and he says, huh, my first kiss. Cool. So he just, like, flies away back home. And he just, like, lands. His mom asks how was his date. He says, it was good. She asked me out. And she goes, does that mean I'm gonna have grandbabies? And he goes, like, not now. And she goes, I know, I mean sooner. Not sooner. She goes, I know, I mean like later on in life. He goes, well, that's if we get married and all. She goes, I know. I want to freaking have grandkids. And he knows this from his mom. He just says, all right, I understand. You want to have grandkids. Honestly, I don't know how this is gonna work. She knows my past. She knows what I was like, and Inko can tell he's becoming depressed, and he says, "Well, if she knows it, then they should be okay with it. She asked you out. She really likes you, and also, you know." And he just says, "True, mom." By the way, why did you ask if I'm like, what age should I even have kids? She goes, 20, 26. He says, okay, so 26 years old? She goes, yes. He goes, yeah, all right. Because he understands, like, he's in high school, Amy, he's, like, she just Inko, he understands Inko just wanted to embarrass him a little bit. So that's why she did it. And same thing happens with Amy, with her parents. So yeah. So that next day, he picks her up. We're saying like a couple days pass until like the USJ. So right when that happens, basically, we're we're kind of just like gonna skip like the whole entire lunchroom incident. Wait, first of all, we have to do this. Like a couple days later, Aizawa comes into class. Everyone's just quiet. He says, "All right, that's good." Okay, so here's the thing. You're gonna have to do something that's very, very important. And everyone's like very cautious, but or like scared besides Fleetway and Shadow and Amy. Tails is in like a different I think May Hatsume was in class 1B. No. Tails is in a different class. And Tails already knows about him and Amy dating. He's like congratulates them and all. And Tails has actually asked Fleetway to work on his hero gear. He already asked the teacher, if he could. So he gets off his hero stuff, and Tails is working on it right at this moment. So yeah. So he says, all right, you have to choose a class president, and so everyone just calms down. Everyone starts voting for themselves, but then Fleetwood just says majority votes, and then Ito says that's an excellent idea, and everyone starts voting for people. Fleetway's not the leader type, so everyone he just like basically no one votes for him, but they kind of vote for Ida. Like it was almost tied between him and Ida. So yeah, and but there was only one point, and he says I voted for him. Like everyone asks, like who voted for Ida? He goes, I did. He goes, one. He goes, one, I'm not a leader. Two, I'm too lazy sometimes, and three, yeah, I don't want to be the leader of this class, the class president. It's just too troublesome. And everyone just laughs, and Amy just says, "Yeah, you are lazy sometimes. When you get enthusiastic by something, you do become more awake." He goes, "Yeah, I know." So yeah, so at the lunchroom, Ida was surprised he voted for him after everything he's done. He goes, "Yeah, but if you're acting stupid, I'm gonna give you a royal beating. Like it doesn't matter in a fight, you can get beaten, and if you act stupid, you're just gonna get beaten from me. It doesn't matter. And he just says, I understand. So yeah, and but then he says, also, if you need me because you have a problem, or if you have a problem with your life, just come to me and talk to me. We can figure this out. And he was like, all right, I understand, Izuku. Araka is just like wonder, like kind of understands why Ida's like acting this way towards him, afraid and all. So yeah, but she just say it isn't nice that you're bossing him around. He goes like, I ain't bossing him, just let him know, and he agrees. But Shadow's there and he goes, so how's your hero costume coming along? He goes like, oh, Tails is working on it. He goes, man, that Tails really likes to work on your stuff now. He goes like, yeah, I mean, I did invent my own inventions with my own chaos energy one time. And then he goes, what was that? Something like your Himbo rings that you had on you. And he goes, wait, what? Oh yeah, I think I did put Tails in the classroom. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot a lot. I haven't worked on this in a while, so I forgot. But yeah, I think I did put Tails in the classroom. If I did, I've just retconned it. But yeah, so he's in class 1A. He replaced Mineta. Yeah. Yeah, he replaced Mineta. I'm really need to think about this. Yeah, I'll think about it later. But if I didn't, we could put. I'm gonna put Tails in like he's in the support course because he really would be a support hero or a support course, you know. So yeah, and Shadow's the hero, but they kind of have him in both. He's doing more support than hero work. So yeah. So he doesn't like need to do like the fights and all. He just needs to do like the getting like the rain, like doing the tests and all that, and just doing like some rescue training and all that. That's all. That was like the agreement they had with Nezu. So yeah, okay, that just explains it. He is in the class, but he's mostly in the support class. That's all. Anyways, so he just says yeah. Then Tails comes up to him with the suitcase. Says it's all done. He goes, huh, cool. What do you add any new modifications to it? He goes like, oh, I just made it more durable, way more easier. Also, it also has you can have an easier time with basically storing energy into certain things. Like you can create energy swords and all that now. And he goes like, so like my chaos spears. And he goes like your chaos spear. Shadow says those are mine. That was my technique. He goes like I make it more better. And Fleetway says that as Shadow and him just like stare at each other and like they can see the sparks. And then all of a sudden they just start laughing. And he goes, yeah, it's kind of true. But I mean, I'm the one who made them first, so I'm the one who made them better, not you. And he just says, sure, whatever. So yeah, after that, they go into the lunchroom. Everything's going like normal. The same thing happens. Fleetway helps Ida gets up there, and they both say it. And like even they never choose the vice president. So basically, everyone who's seeing it, they're pretty impressed. Amy's like happy. So they choose a vice president. And they choose Izuku Midoriya, and he goes, all right, I can deal with that, but I'm not the leader type, so don't expect me to help you out right away because I'm not used to it because I'm used to being you all know now. And they go, yeah, we understand. We want to give you a chance and see what you really like. Being just trying to live a new life and all that. You really are trying hard, which we're very impressed. Everyone says Azawa even was told by All Might, and he goes, for you to try to change and try to be different and not go back to your old habits. It's very remarkable. Also, I think it's kind of weird that you were a hedgehog at one point, but it's all right. So yeah, so the USJ happens the same day. No, the USJ happened like the next day and all that. So yeah, what happens basically is Azawa says we're gonna go to USJ and all that, so get on the bus. After you change. So everyone gets into changing. Tails is there this time. He said he had to like come to this class because it's rescue training, and he is allowed to use some of his support gear, which he has worked on, and he and then like Shadow, Amy, Fleetway ask him how's everyone asks him how's his support class mostly is. He goes like, oh, it's good, but there's this girl called Mei Hatsume. She really is a good inventor, but she has problems with how can I say her she calls her inventions her babies. I can understand that, but still it's like they blow up a lot, and I always have to help her fix it. And every time of course, when I make something, it does. I do my testing in a safe, controlled environment. She sometimes doesn't, and it does cause a lot of problems. So Flavor understands. Everyone understands it, and so he does ask like Tails though about like the energy control, like the energy, like he can make energy swords now. Basically, he explains about how his jacket now, like he just tells him just to show it, power up a little, as then he does. He powers up, just like a glowing aura around him, his hair spiking up a little bit, and then he says, "Okay, now focus your energy into your hand, like you're making a little ball of light," and he does. And then as he's like thinking making it into think of a sword. So he goes back to he's trying to think of a sword. He doesn't really know much about swords, but he does remember Caliburn from Sonic and the Black Knight. Then all of a sudden it forms into Caliburn. And it literally starts talking too. And then for some weird reason, I'm literally giving him this. I'm literally giving him Caliburn from Sonic and the Black Knight. If you guys been wondering why, it's because of one reason. I actually like Caliburn. I actually like it that Sonic, if you have never played the game, I'm not gonna spoil it, but I actually like who Sonic came in the end. And who Caliburn was. And so, he literally formed Caliburn, and then all of a sudden it starts to change, like, the light starts to, like, come off it, like it's, imagine, like, Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan Blue, like, the blue light, it's starting to, like, break apart, that's what's happening, and then it's like, Caliburn's real, and everyone's in shock, and everyone's like, how is it talking, like, because he says, Sonic, we meet again, and then Fleetway says, correction, Fleetway Supersonic. He goes, oh, you are that being that Sonic talked about that was the evil inside of him, or should I say, I sensed. Well, seems like you're good now and everything else. I am. And then, Sonic, Fleetway says Caliburn, Excalibur, basically. He goes, yes. We don't have the, 3 sacred treasures, so I can't turn into that night form, basically. He was like, it does not matter. For some reason, somehow, you summoned me. And I believe now, I can just turn into the Excalibur form with just your chaos energy, and he goes, huh. So basically, he asked if he can try it out to us out. He goes, I'm actually curious too. What's the Excalibur form? So basically, he basically grabs Caliburn, and all of a sudden he charges up some chaos energy into him, and all of a sudden it just starts changing like into the actual Excalibur. And everyone's in shock by this. He's not turning to the blood. He's not turning to the knife form. So basically, he was like, "Okay, this is cool." Amy agrees. So does Shadow. But then anyway, he does she does ask him what does he mean by the 3 swords and everything else, and he goes, "Oh, let me explain." So he explains Sonic's adventure into a storybook, and it was this tale of King Arthur and all that, and she says, "Oh, so that date me and Sonic had that one time, I basically beat him in the bed and he promised a date, so he doesn't go back on his word and all." He goes, "Yeah, that's just because the reason why he missed it because of that reason," and she goes, "Oh." And he goes, seer. I mean, the lady of the lake, he says. He goes, "Oh, Caliburn more. Caliburn? Caliburn. Yeah, Caliburn. This isn't, the King Arthur world." And he goes like, "Oh. Alright, I understand. What is your name, my lady?" He says, "Amy Rose." He goes, "Well then, Miss Rose, it's a pleasure to meet you. You look like the lady of the lake that Sonic met." he even run away from. And I guess now I know because he was missing out on a date with you. She says, yeah. So he has the sword now. He has Caliburn Boar. Caliburn, I mean, not Caliburn Boar, it's Caliburn. Names mixing up in my head. Sorry, but if I got that name wrong, let me guys know. I'm I played it so many times I forget the name. Still, I haven't not played it in a while. But yeah, so basically that happens. He then tells Sonic about that's how he tells Fleetway about he can do and all the skills he has now. Since does he remember what Sonic did and all? He goes, yeah, I do and all. He goes, all right, then I do know how to train you. So, but I will need to get my edge fixed a little. And he looks at Tails and he goes, you know, it's just the blacksmith that fixed me up that one time. He goes, can you please sharpen me up again when the time is right? He goes, sure. And then he does like tell Caliber that he can't really be that sharp. He goes like, oh yes, of course, because he did explain about the heroes in this world and all that killing is wrong. They have laws against it, and he doesn't understand, but he kind of does. I mean, after they explained it a little bit, even Aizawa, he understands that he can't go around like slaying people, so he understands that. But they does say if there does encounter like anything that's not human, we can kill. And they're like, all right. He says, all right then. So that's it. I do kind of want to make it where he actually will. I actually want to give him a weapon so that way, even though he doesn't really need it, Caliburn he can summon out now. Basically, he can just summon. So yeah. So what happens is they get off the bus because they get there. 13's there. She explains how quirks will be dangerous and all that. Shadow and Shadow and Fleetway are feeling something off. They let Aizawa know. Caliburn, says be ready for anything. So yeah. So and basically he is dull. He can't kill no one. But he does like tell him that I will have to like encase your blade with chaos energy and make it a lot more duller because you could leave a couple of scratches and such. And just leave a couple of scratches. He says he understands. So yeah. So basically that's what happens. He uses chaos energy real quick, goes around the blade, and he makes it dull, but at the same time it'll leave scratches and break bones. That is it. So yeah. So what happens is they get into the USJ. They'll know the League of Villains, Shigaraki and the villains come out here. Kirishima says exactly the same thing. Like, oh, I didn't know we're having here fake villains. Aizawa says this is like fake villains. That's when the door closes and all that. He then basically, he looks at the students and tells them to, and then Fleetway just suddenly punches the freaking door, breaking it open. He tells Ida to run. Because he said, and then Ida says, but you are faster. He goes, I'm stronger than everyone here. I'm also the fastest. I know it will only take me a couple of seconds, but come on, man. He goes, alright. So he runs. He runs as fast as he can. But before he ran, Fleetway tells him, oh yeah, let me give you a little bit of this. As he basically gives him a little bit of chaos energy, and he's running even faster now. He's saying to himself, this is amazing. So this is what I ain't even close to his speed, but still, it's amazing because he's going way faster than what he could. So yeah, so basically, Aizawa goes down to fight. Everyone goes back to gets separated. Almost everyone people are about to become separated. Then Fleetway and just grabs Caliburn and just slices the basically Kirigiri's portal as it just cuts right through, and he just says, no one will get hurt while I'm around. And basically Kirigiri says, what the? As then all of a sudden he appears right in front of Kirigiri holding the sword and just swinging downwards. As he basically he uses his quirk and just gets away. He tells Shigaraki he couldn't separate anyone. They're all going to be there. As he says there's a boy there with a sword, and it went right through my portal like it was nothing. And he goes, "What? No, that's impossible!" All that. And the Nomu's out. He asks who it was. He says it's the kid with the blonde hair with the sword in hand. Aizawa is taking down the villains, but then all of a sudden Kirigiri, Shigaraki see Fleetway. Then all of a sudden he disappears, and every single villain is just down on the ground, which Aizawa just in shock. And Fleetway's right in the middle of everyone. Amy's seeing this. Caliburn, Caliburn says, "Well, I will need to be ghost. Summon me when I, need to get fixed." And all. He goes like, "Really?" He goes, "Yes. I mean, it seemed like my time. You can summon me." He goes, "Alright, thanks for your help, Caliburn." "No problem. Oh, if you ever see Sonic again, tell him I say hello." And, on all that. So he suddenly disappears. He goes, like, a beam of light happens, and he's just gone. He goes, "So, who are you? So, you're the League of Villains, and you're here to kill the symbol of peace, right? As you can see, All Might ain't around. So, how about you guys just leave, and I want to get this become any messy." And Shigaraki's just scratching himself. He just says, "Nomu, kill that brat." And then the Nomu just starts running. He's able to dodge the Nomu's fists, like, pretty easily. And everyone's, like, doesn't know how fast Fleetway is. Amy, Tails, and, Shadow do. They have a rough estimate of how fast he is. He's just dodging it. The Nomu keeps on getting faster and faster and faster. And then, Fleetway almost gets, like, a scratch on him. He just dodges it right at the last second, though. But then next, he sees a fist coming out of his face. He's like, "What the?" And then, he's just dodging. He's literally was dodging with ease. He's having a hard time. Basically, he's not even using much. He's not even using chaos energy. He just uses his natural speed. And then, as basically, he just starts throwing punches with the Nomu, and everyone's in shock by this. Even Shadow, Tails, and Amy, and they're making a massive shot weights. The Nomu's throwing everything he has into it, multiple punches, making shot waves. The fight almost looks similar to in canon with All Might and the Nomu fighting. But then he starts to encase his fist into chaos energy. And he's just saying, "This doesn't feel right. This isn't even human. What is this thing?" And then Shigaraki does a stupid mistake and says, "This was made to kill All Might. It has sharp absorption and regeneration." And Deku just stops and looks at him. He says, "Made to kill All Might?" And that's his defenses were lowered. So right when the Nomu hits him, he sends him flying. And it's like he gets implanted into a wall. Amy just rushes down there with her hammer. Basically. If Fleetway just was thinking to himself, "This isn't human, but it was made. That means this was a human once, but it's a monster now. Like me." Damn, monster should kill a monster, right? And he sees the Nomu just right in front of him, it's just about to throw a fist. Then he sees Amy. He about to using her hammer out and just about to hit the Nomu. Oh no, she's just already in the air about to hit the Nomu. And then all of a sudden he's just thinking, he can already tell the Nomu already knows she's there. So he basically is about to the Nomu's about to turn around, but everything's going in slow motion for Fleetway. He goes, "No, I won't let her die." And then all of a sudden, he just says, "Enough of being acting tame. Let's act a little bit wild for once in a life." And he just starts powering up. His power just blows away everyone. The Nomu gets sent flying, Amy gets sent flying, but he catches her, mid-air, and he's just flying. He's just in the air. And he just puts her on the ground, and his power is he has like a yellow glow, and for some reason, his hair is starting to go silver. His eyes are still like red with the swirls and everything, but his hair is starting to go silver, and like it's starting to like change colors. The aura around him, the energy around him that he usually has. As Amy says, what the hypersonic, and I know she says hyperform. He goes, so this thing was made to kill All Might. It ain't human. That means I don't have to worry about holding back. As Amy, remembers that laugh, that voice, that attitude, she's thinking he revert back to himself. Shadow, even Tails, they say, crap, we don't have the Chaos Emeralds, but Tails has worked on them, has worked on kind of making a not artificial Chaos Emerald, but just making a emeralds, and basically he was asked Fleetway to basically make them have chaos energy and such, but now he doesn't think it's a good idea. But basically, Fleetway's just walking over to Nomu, and he just has the biggest grin. He just says, "So you're a mindless beast that no one can talk to." I'm gonna have fun ripping you to shreds. As the Nova just roars at him and just runs over. As he throws a fist, Deku, well, no, Fuma just catches it with one hand. He throws another fist, he just catches it with the other hand. And all of a sudden, he just starts breaking the Nomu's hand, and then he headbutts it right in the face. Oh no, right into the chest as it goes flying with the arms coming off. And he just says, "Oh, my bad. I didn't know this thing could come apart." And then he just throws the both arms to the side. He's there. He's surprised that even though he's acting the way he does, as when he was like originally, he's still sane. He's not, 100%. He's 100% sane. He's surprised, as then basically the moment regenerates as he just starts roaring. As basically it starts throwing multiple punches at him, as it's just like doing nothing. He goes like, "Oh, this is no fun. I can't enjoy this." And then he just hits the Nomu's arm, and it just gets blown off. And then he just puts his hand on the Nomu's body, and he just says, "Die." And then he just says, "Chaos Blast." And then boom, the Nomu just blows up, basically like an energy beam, just goes right through the Nomu's body, destroying everything. Which Shigaraki goes, what are you?" He just says, he goes, "I'm a monster. What you think?" As basically he just has an energy ball in his hand. As Shigaraki says, "Karagiri, let's get out of here. I don't want to die." As he knows he's gonna die, he feels it. As basically they teleport away, and Amy's just walking up to him and says, Fleetway?" As he looks at her, and he's not grunting no more. He's not laughing. He goes, he just powers down. And she's, "What's going on?" And he goes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I scared you. I didn't want you to die. So I kind of reverted back to myself, I thought. But at the same time, I may have been acting crazy. Like a psychopath. I wasn't, I was still there. I wasn't gone. She just hugs him, and she just glad she's alright and all. And, she does, she was worried about him, saying she thought she lost him. And he just says, "You're never gonna lose me. Not again." And, she, starts crying, just, everyone, all the villains were knocked out, but right when they felt all that energy wave, happen, it wasn't just a freaking, all of a sudden, like I said, no. He did, the Dragon Ball 3 scream, but it like he bursts and then his hair goes silver and then like that the energy around him goes like in multiple colors and all that. As that's when he catched Amy. So yeah, that's what happened. As Tail, did like have a reading on energy because of he wanted to see how powerful he was if he used his chaos energy. As he remembered when Sonic went hypersonic that one time, but he never could again. As he says, even Shadow remembers and Amy, and she stops crying. She goes, I remember Sonic using that form once, but after that he couldn't. He goes, yeah, that wasn't Sonic. He goes, what? That was me. They say, and then Tail says, so you controlled Sonic. He goes, yeah. And you made him go hypersonic. He goes, yeah. Just because we were all in danger one time. He goes, yeah. And he goes, okay. Shadow's like pretty impressed. He goes, so the blue faker wasn't really that powerful. He was like, oh no, he was powerful. He just needed to accept me, but he didn't want to. So that was the reason why he was weaker than you. But I couldn't let him die because I would have died. So I took over a few times, beat your butt, but not like in the sparring matches, or should I say in the life or death situations. I took over, and she and Amy's just like still holding him and hugging him when she asked that. Aizawa, does come over to him and says, that's pretty impressive. But the whole entire you going crazy thing, you sure that was you? He goes, yeah. I felt like myself, not my old self. I mean, I still felt like me. I was sane still. I just acted that way because of the villains. As you say, are you sure? He goes, yeah, I'm sure. And yeah, he was acting like himself. He did not go like freaking like back to Fleetway Supersonic psychopath killing everyone. Everyone heard the laugh and all, and they were like kind of terrified. And he does apologize to all of them. Bakugo just says, okay, that's how powerful you really are. He goes, that's I think was my max power. Be going to hyper form, but I don't know for sure. And he just says, dude, you need a limit. He just says, I got none. I destroy my limits. And, All Might and everyone comes in. And he says, the teachers and All Might, company says, we are here to rescue you. And then he sees, like, the arms, like, a thing of, like the energy beam, it goes all the way through the USJ. It destroyed some of the USJ. And, he goes, what happened here? As some of the teachers ask, and Aizawa explains it, and he congratulates Fleetway, and he's glad that he didn't go back to his old self. No one, knows what, he means by that. He just says, it was like I think I could transform into it now, but I may need, the actual Chaos Emeralds. And Tails says, oh, I need to talk to you about that. I made emeralds, similar to the Chaos Emeralds. I just need Chaos Energy within them. But since you have an unlimited supply, I think it'll be good if you, have it. And that way Shadow can go to his super form and all that. And basically, Fleetway says, alright. I mean, are you going to make, 2 sets of them, or just, 1? Like, how him and Sonic shared them and all. He goes, oh, well, actually, I mean, I probably could make a second batch of them, but it's way more easier just to have 1 set. He goes, yeah, that's true. Don't have to work twice as hard, because they do, go around the world or such after using them sometimes. He goes, yeah. Then we always have to look for them again. It was annoying. Tails says he was true. So, after that happens, there was rumors about it, the media got onto it, but they said no one was hurt, everyone was fine, the villains, secured, the police there with the news reporter, and All Might says, he can't let Fleetway take any credit. He just, says, just say some random hero did it, came in out of nowhere, saved the day, and they just say, alright, so they just say some random hero name. Well, actually, they say his name was Sonic. Well, no, they don't say his name is Sonic, because actually, no one else is in the My Hero Academia world. Well, no one from, no Sonic, no Sally, nothing. It's just Tails, and Amy, and Shadow. So yeah, so they say just some random name that they made up, and yeah, and everyone was like saying, "Wow, I thought it would be you." I'm like, he helped out with the villain, but I did take down the creature. But the creature, when I did take it down, it came right back up, and he destroyed it, because it was said it was made to kill me. So it's all right. It wasn't human. As they said, was it a monster? He goes, no, it was made to kill me. It was not a monster. Nothing's a monster, only that we perceive it as one. As he knows like how Fleetway feels about himself, so he basically doesn't call it. He just said, he corrects him, says it was not a monster. It was basically something that was made, a creature. They still call it a monster, but Fleetway understands he can't really word it anywhere better than calling it a creature that was made to. It probably was a human being that was made to kill All Might, turn into a creature, basically to kill All Might, and that it wouldn't die because it had no mind of its own. So yeah, so everyone in the school heard about someone, a new hero did it. So Class 1A does get like some, about the. We'll get like some fame from that a little bit, but they took on heroes. I mean, not heroes. They took on villains. So yeah. So basically, so the whole entire thing, like the next day happens. They said you get a 2 week break to train all. Well, actually, you get like a 2 week break to train all, and all that. So instead of training, Tails trains a little bit, Shadow trains a little bit too, and they help invent stuff with their parents and all that. Amy and Fleetway go on dates. They train. They fight. He learns how to he did get over Caliburn board to be sharpened and all that. So basically, he can summon Caliburn anytime he needs to, and that he actually learned he can when he goes hypersonic. Excalibur form changes a little bit, and Caliburn is impressed by it. Ooh, sorry about that one, but yeah. So that happens. There's two. He does train him in swordsmanship too. He does help out Amy with the store with her parents and all that. So yeah, they go on dates too, and their first kiss happens during that time, and they're just taking the relationship slow and just enjoying themselves. But yeah, so the 2 weeks are up. Everyone comes back. Then the whole entire support course doesn't come over to Class 1A like they did in canon. The support course, the Class 1B, and the freaking academic course. The Class 1B and the academic course does come over to try to threaten intimidate them. But the support course asks if they can come in, and they do. They say, well, we wish you luck on everything, and also good luck, Tails. Even though we're gonna be in there, you have trained, aren't in here, so we want to wish you luck, but we won't try to lose to you. They all say, and everyone in Class 1A is impressed by this. Bakugo just kind of scoffs a little bit, but he's even impressed by it. And Tails says, I won't lose to you guys either. And then he looks at May, and then May says, I won't lose to you, my rival, and creating the support items. He was like, I wouldn't have it any other way, May. Mai. And then Shadow just says, how about you just ask her out? Which, he just says that out loud, and he goes, bro, no. That's what Tails is thinking. He's just like, Shadow, really? Come on, man. Because he said he liked Mai. I'm getting her name confused now. Mai. And her face is red, his face is red, and she just runs out. He just says, really? He goes, yeah, I had to go there. And Fleetway's laughing along with Amy. So, Bakugo goes up, and he sees all those. He says, "Move out of the way, extras." As they don't listen, he says, "Bakugo, let me try something." As then all of a sudden, Fleetway, comes up, and he asks what he's gonna do. And Amy just tells him, "Just watch." And he says, "Oh, look, it's a Class 1A student, another one." Who thinks he's all high, and then he just starts laughing. He goes like, "How about all of you move out of my way and my classmates' way, and we won't have to put you in recovery girl's care. As they go like, what? As then all of a sudden a little bit of energy is coming off of him, chaos energy. As they go, they just like move out of the way. He goes, and then he looks back at him and goes like, all right, we're good. And it's like a sudden mood change, like just like that. Plus Monet is kind of used to it because of what he did at the USJ, but no one else. And so yeah. Also, Tails wants to like talk, like train with Fleetway and like get some energy readings off of him. Oh yeah, he did like put in the Chaos Emeralds. He did go to their house. He was pretty shocked along with Amy about how big their house was and all that. They met Shadows and Tails' parents. They talk about their past. Like Fleetway even talked about his with them, and they're kind of surprised that Tails isn't afraid of him. He was like, "Oh, he changed a lot." Tails said, and they understand like new life, new beginning, and all that. All that. So they aren't afraid of him, but he does tell them what he's done, and he did think of Tails as a friend, but he did get mad crazy with power, so he didn't care at the time, and he did like kind of regret it after he was sealed away, and with the positive energy of the Chaos Emeralds. So yeah, so basically he gives the emeralds to Fleetway as he basically pours in positive chaos energy, positive and negative chaos energy into it, and they start glowing just like how the Chaos Emeralds and Mobius did. And their dimension did and all that. And so what happens is, Shadow and Shadow and Fleetway, they get them registered to use them as support items, but it's like they can summon them. Both of them can summon them to themselves now. That's what Fleetway did. He told that to Shadow. He goes, cool. So he trained his super form to just grab it, tried to get back in that swing of things with it. So yeah, and then Caliburn did get sharpened a little, not enough to cut him, not enough to kill him, but just like leave some cuts on them. That was it. But also like to knock them out, break some bones too. But yeah, so and they got some energy readings off of Fleetway. It's very high, so basically he has to so he works on his hero suit a little bit to try to get used to it. Try to make sure that it's a lot more like it's able to handle his energy too when he goes hypersonic and all that. And basically Tails said he wants ask Fleetway, says you build your own sneakers, right? Could you show me what you can build and all that? He was sure. So he just built something. It was wasn't that good, but Tails was impressed. So he teaches Fleetway during these 2 weeks also on how to build stuff. I forgot to mention that during those 2 weeks. So yeah. So since they get everyone goes to the sports festival. Fleetway has to go up and he gives a speech. He talks about how he doesn't he gives a speech about how people aren't always made to be heroes, but because some people get mad with power, they become monsters, creatures of a nightmare that no one wants to have anymore around. But if they stop being mad with power and get the positive influence that they need, they can become someone great, a hero. They can even sacrifice themselves to save someone. So yeah. And then he does want to say, these words I'm about to say are just the truth because I have unlimited amount of energy and I cannot be beaten. Also Todoroki, kind of saw that day, as Fleetway as a threat. He, at the USJ. So he sees him as a very big threat. So he, tried to figure out he planned how to, try to stop him. And all that, and that was it. But yeah, he can't figure out anyway. But, but he says, I'm gonna win. But everyone should try their hardest. Give it your all. Push yourself past your limits. And don't forget, just because I say I'm gonna win, doesn't mean I may win. I don't know. Who knows what fate has in store for us? And everyone, he says that's all he has to say. and then he walks off. Everyone starts clapping. The people who hate Class 1A don't hate him as much, and they were afraid of him, and they're not even afraid of him as much either. So yeah, I'm gonna leave, and then the announcement for for the first obstacle happens, and it is the you know the race, and that's where we're gonna leave it off, everyone. I'm sorry for the cliffhanger. It's just I got to do some stuff today. Also, I want to leave you guys a suspense, but yeah, hopefully guys you enjoyed the video. Stay safe out there wherever you are, and also have a nice day or night. All right, bye everyone.